Capricorn, karma is moving faster than you think. Number 5 will shock you. Listen carefully, Capricorn. While you've been climbing, strategizing, and building your empire brick by brick, something has been moving in the shadows. Something ancient. Something inevitable. Something you can't control with discipline or hard work. Karma. And here's what you need to understand right now. It's no longer moving at the slow, predictable pace you're used to. The universe has accelerated the timeline. Every action you've taken, every choice you've made, every person you've stepped over or lifted up, it's all coming back. Faster than ever before. And whether you're ready or not, the reckoning is already in motion. You thought you had more time, didn't you? More time to fix things. More time to make amends. More time to balance the scales before the consequences caught up. But that's the illusion Capricorn lives under, that you can outwork karma, that you can plan your way around cosmic justice, that your iron can somehow delay the inevitable. It can't. Right now, as you watch this, karmic cycles that should have taken years are completing in months. Debts you thought were forgotten are being called in. Seeds you planted in darkness are sprouting in broad daylight. And the universe isn't asking for your permission or waiting for your convenience. What I'm about to reveal are 5 karmic truths that are actively reshaping your life, whether you acknowledge them or not. 5 cosmic laws that are moving through your reality at lightning speed. And number 5 is so profound, so undeniable, that even the most skeptical Capricorn will feel it in their bones. It's the karmic secret that explains everything you've been experiencing lately and everything that's about to unfold. The mountain goat climbs alone. But karma? Karma never climbs. It doesn't have to. It simply waits at the summit. And Capricorn, you're closer to the top than you realize. If you're ready to understand what's really happening, if you're prepared to see the invisible forces shaping your destiny, then hit that subscribe button and leave a like. Because what's coming will either wake you up or shake you up. There's no middle ground here. Let's dive in. Capricorn, you pride yourself on your work ethic, your discipline, your ability to achieve what others only dream about. You've climbed higher than most people ever will, and you did it through sheer force of will, strategic planning, and relentless determination. But here's the karmic question that's been echoing through the universe. Who did you step on to get there? I'm not talking about healthy competition. I'm not talking about working harder than others and earning your success. I'm talking about something darker, something you've justified, something you've rationalized as necessary, or just business, or survival of the fittest. Think about it carefully. How many people did you use as stepping stones? How many did you view as tools rather than humans? How many bridges did you burn not because you had to, but because you could? How many times did you choose ambition over compassion, status over integrity, winning over doing what was right? Capricorn has this ability, this cold, calculated ability, to compartmentalize emotions when they interfere with goals. You can work alongside someone for years, extract value from them, learn from them, benefit from their loyalty, and then discard them the moment they're no longer useful. You can do it without remorse because, in your mind, that's just how the world works. That's just reality. That's just smart strategy. But karma doesn't accept that logic. Karma doesn't care about your rationalizations. Right now, right this moment, every person you've used, every person you've discarded, every person you've climbed over is being factored into your karmic equation. And here's what's terrifying. You can't remember all of them. You've forgotten most of the people you've hurt because they didn't matter enough to you to remember. But they remember you. And their pain, their disappointment, their sense of betrayal, that energy has been accumulating. The external Capricorn is the successful one, the one who made it, the one at the top of the mountain, surveying everything you've conquered. But the internal Capricorn knows something you won't admit. The view from the top is lonely not because success is isolating, but because you isolated yourself. You chose achievement over relationship. You chose the summit over companionship. And now, at the top, you're discovering that everything you sacrificed to get here was actually everything that mattered. Karma is now asking you to pay the debt. Not with money, not with success, with the currency that matters most, genuine human connection. And that's the one thing you can't strategize your way into. That's the one thing discipline won't create. That's the one thing you can't fake or manufacture or achieve through willpower. The people you hurt on your way up? Some of them were meant to be there with you at the summit. Some of them were supposed to celebrate with you. Some of them would have been your closest allies, your truest friends, your most loyal supporters. But you treated them like rungs on a ladder instead of fellow travelers on the journey. And now you're at the top, looking around, wondering why it feels so empty. Why success tastes like ashes. Why achieving everything you wanted left you feeling like you've lost everything that matters. That's not depression, Capricorn. That's karma. That's the universe showing you that the mountain you climbed was built on foundations that can't sustain real joy, real connection, real fulfillment. The acceleration you're feeling? That's karma fast-tracking the lesson you need most, that people aren't resources to be exploited. They're not stepping stones to your destiny. They're the actual destination. And every single one you discarded along the way has created a hole in your life that success can never fill. Let's talk about control. Your favorite word. Your guiding principle. Your religion. Capricorn needs control like lungs need oxygen. You plan everything. You strategize every move. You anticipate every variable. You leave nothing to chance because chance feels like weakness, spontaneity feels like chaos, and vulnerability feels like suicide. But here's the karmic mirror being held up to you right now. Your obsessive need for control isn't protecting you. It's imprisoning you. Think about your life right now. Really think about it. How much of it is actually lived versus managed? How much joy do you experience versus achieve? How many moments do you actually feel versus observe from a safe, controlled distance? You become so good at controlling your environment, your emotions, your image, your outcomes that you've forgotten how to simply exist. You've forgotten how to surrender. You've forgotten how to trust anything other than your own carefully constructed plans. And in that forgetting, you've lost access to the very things that make life worth living. The irony is devastating. You control everything except the thing that matters most, how you feel. You can control your schedule, but not your happiness. You can control your achievements, but not your fulfillment. You can control your image, but not your peace. You can control other people's perceptions, but not your own sense of worthiness. And karma? Karma is now systematically dismantling every illusion of control you've built. One by one, your carefully laid plans are unraveling. Your strategies are backfiring. Your predictions are failing. Your control is slipping through your fingers like water, and it's terrifying you in ways you can't admit. Because here's what you won't say out loud. You don't actually want control. You want safety. You want to feel secure in a world that feels fundamentally unsafe. You want to guarantee outcomes in a universe that refuses to give guarantees. You want to protect yourself from pain, from disappointment, from failure, from being seen as anything less than invincible. But that's not control. That's fear. Deep, primal, unacknowledged fear dressed up in the sophisticated clothing of strategy and ambition. The external Capricorn appears disciplined, organized, in command. But the internal Capricorn is terrified of what happens when the control slips. Terrified of chaos. Terrified of vulnerability. Terrified of being at the mercy of forces you can't manipulate. Terrified that without your iron grip on everything, you'll fall apart. That you'll be exposed as not having it all together. That people will see you're just as lost and scared as everyone else. Karma is accelerating this lesson because you're running out of time to learn it organically. The universe is forcing your hand. It's creating situations where control is impossible, where you have to surrender, where you have to trust, where you have to let go or be dragged. And in those moments, those terrible, beautiful moments where everything you've tried to control falls apart, you're discovering something profound. You don't actually fall apart when you lose control. You don't die. You don't disappear. You don't become less than. You become more authentic, more alive, more connected, more human. The cage you built to protect yourself has become the very thing preventing you from experiencing the freedom, the joy, the connection, the spontaneity, the magic that makes life worth living. And karma is now rattling those bars, demanding you choose. Will you stay in the cage where it's safe but suffocating? Or will you risk the vulnerability of freedom? Here's a question that's going to sting. What if everything you've achieved has been a distraction from what you actually need? Capricorn worships at the altar of success. Achievement is your God. Productivity is your prayer. Status is your salvation. You measure your worth in accomplishments, your value in outcomes, your existence in what you can point to and say, I did that. But karma is revealing a devastating truth. Your success addiction is a sophisticated form of avoidance. You're not working hard because you love the work. You're working hard because the work keeps you from having to feel, from having to sit with yourself, from having to confront the emptiness that lurks beneath all those achievements, from having to ask the questions you're terrified to answer. Every promotion, every milestone, every goal reached, it feels good for about 5 minutes, doesn't it? And then the emptiness returns. So you set another goal, chase another achievement, climb another mountain. Because as long as you're climbing, you don't have to stop and ask, why am I climbing? What am I actually running from? What am I trying to prove? And to whom? The truth you won't face. You're trying to earn love. You're trying to achieve your way into worthiness. You're trying to become so successful, so impressive, so undeniably valuable that people will have no choice but to love you, respect you, validate you. But that's not how love works. That's not how worthiness works. That's not how human value works. You can't earn love through achievement. You can inspire admiration, sure. You can generate respect. You can create envy. But love? Real love? That only comes when you stop performing and start being. When you stop achieving and start connecting. When you stop proving and start sharing. The external Capricorn is successful, impressive, accomplished. But the internal Capricorn is exhausted, burned out, running on empty while pretending to be full. Working yourself to the bone not because you want to, but because you don't know who you are when you're not working. Because stillness feels like death. Because rest feels like regression. Because being is terrifying when you've spent your entire life doing. And here's the karmic acceleration. The universe is now making your success feel hollow. Making your achievements feel meaningless. Making your goals feel empty before you even reach them. You're losing motivation not because you're lazy, you could never be lazy, but because some part of you is finally waking up to the truth that this game you're playing is rigged. That you're chasing a horizon that moves every time you get close. That you're trying to fill a void with achievements when what you actually need is connection, presence, self-acceptance, and permission to simply be enough as you are. Karma isn't punishing you by making success feel empty. Karma is trying to wake you up, to redirect you, to show you that the prison you're in isn't built by circumstances or other people. It's built by your own beliefs about what makes you valuable, what makes you worthy, what makes you deserving of love. The bars of this prison are made of shoulds and musts and have TOS. And the key to freedom? It's not another achievement. It's not another success. It's the radical act of deciding you're already enough, that you've always been enough, that your worth isn't something you earn. It's something you inherently possess simply by existing. Stop right here for a moment. I need to know something from you. Have you ever felt like you're climbing a mountain that has no summit? Like no matter how much you achieve, it's never enough? Capricorn or not, if you felt this exhaustion, this emptiness beneath success, drop a comment below. Share your experience. Because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is admit we're tired of pretending we have it all together. Let's create space for that honesty right here, right now. I'm reading every comment. You built walls, Capricorn. High walls. Strong walls. Impenetrable walls. And you're proud of them, aren't you? Because walls mean you're safe. Walls mean you're protected. Walls mean no one can hurt you. But here's what karma is forcing you to see. Walls don't just keep pain out. They keep everything out, including joy, including love, including connection, including the very things that make being human worth the risk. You've spent so much energy building these emotional fortifications that you've forgotten why you built them in the first place. Maybe someone hurt you. Maybe someone betrayed your trust. Maybe someone made you feel small or foolish or weak for caring. And you decided, consciously or unconsciously, that vulnerability was a luxury you couldn't afford. That emotions were weaknesses to be controlled. That needing someone was a liability to be eliminated. So you became self-sufficient, independent to the point of isolation, strong to the point of rigidity, protected to the point of unreachable. And now here you are, safe behind your walls, completely, utterly, devastatingly alone. The external Capricorn appears self-contained, independent, needing no one. But the internal Capricorn is starving for genuine connection, dying for someone to see past the walls, desperate for permission to stop being strong for just one moment, longing for someone to care enough to break through the barriers you've so carefully constructed. But here's the cruel irony. You've built the walls so high that the people who might actually break through can't even see you anymore. They can't reach you. They can't find the door. And eventually, they stop trying. Not because they don't care, but because you've made it impossible to care for you. Every time someone gets close, you do this thing, this subtle, sophisticated thing, where you push them away. You create distance. You become cold. You focus on their flaws. You remind yourself why vulnerability is dangerous. You convince yourself you're better off alone. And then you retreat back behind your walls, calling it protecting yourself, when it's actually just fear wearing a disguise. Karma is now collapsing these walls. Not gently. Not gradually, rapidly, forcefully, creating situations where your emotional armor doesn't work, where your defenses fail, where you're forced to feel things you've been avoiding for years. And it's terrifying, isn't it? Because behind those walls, you've been keeping all the emotions you decided weren't safe to feel, all the hurt, all the loneliness, all the longing, all the grief, all the fear that maybe, just maybe, you're unlovable. That maybe there's something fundamentally wrong with you that makes real connection impossible. That maybe you're too damaged, too cold, too broken to ever be truly loved. But here's what karma is trying to teach you. Those walls aren't protecting you from pain. They're preserving your pain. They're keeping you trapped with all the emotions you've refused to process, all the needs you've refused to acknowledge, all the vulnerability you've refused to express. The people who could love you, they're not rejecting you. They're bouncing off walls they can't see and don't understand. They're walking away not because you're unlovable, but because loving someone who won't let you in is exhausting. It's impossible. It's heartbreaking. And the saddest part? Behind those walls, you're not just lonely. You're suffocating. You're dying inside while appearing perfectly fine outside. You're craving the very thing you've made impossible to receive. Karma is accelerating this lesson because you're running out of time. The walls that once protected you are now killing you. They're cutting you off from life itself, from love itself, from connection itself, from every beautiful, messy, vulnerable human experience that gives life meaning. The choice is yours. Keep the walls and keep the safety and keep the suffocating loneliness. Or risk lowering them and discover that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the only path to everything you've actually been seeking. This is it, the karmic truth that explains everything. The one that will shock you because it's so accurate it hurts. The one you've never said out loud because admitting it feels like admitting defeat. Here it is. You believe deep in your core that you're only valuable when you're useful, that your worth is conditional, that your right to exist depends on what you produce, what you achieve, what you provide to others. You're terrified of becoming obsolete, irrelevant, unnecessary, past your prime, no longer needed. Think about how this shapes everything you do. You work yourself to exhaustion not just because you're ambitious, but because stopping feels like dying. Because if you're not producing, if you're not achieving, if you're not useful, then what are you? Who are you? Every Capricorn has this nightmare they won't share, becoming old, becoming weak, becoming dependent, becoming the person who needs help instead of providing it. Because in your mind, that's when people leave. That's when love ends. That's when your value expires. So you push yourself beyond reason, beyond health, beyond happiness. You sacrifice rest, joy, relationships, health, all on the altar of remaining useful, remaining valuable, remaining necessary. Because necessary means you can't be abandoned. Necessary means you can't be replaced. Necessary means you're safe. But here's the devastating karmic truth. This belief is killing you. It's destroying you from the inside. It's creating a life where you can never rest, never relax, never simply be, because being isn't enough. Because existing without producing feels like theft. Because taking up space without earning it feels like fraud. The external Capricorn is the reliable one, the capable one, the one everyone depends on. But the internal Capricorn is exhausted beyond measure, waiting for the day when their usefulness runs out and everyone disappears. Waiting for the inevitable moment when people realize they don't need you anymore and leave. And here's what makes this karmic pattern so painful. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. By treating yourself as only valuable when useful, you train others to see you that way too. By never showing vulnerability or need, you teach people that you don't want connection, you want transactions. By always being the helper and never the helped, you create relationships based on function instead of genuine care. And then, when you're exhausted, when you need support, when you can't maintain the performance anymore, people don't show up. Not because they don't care, but because you never taught them how to care for you. You never showed them you needed caring. You never gave them permission to see you as human instead of superhuman. Karma is now forcing you to confront this belief system at an accelerated pace. It's creating situations where you can't be useful, where you have to ask for help, where you have to receive instead of give, where your worth is being tested in ways that have nothing to do with productivity. And in those moments, you're discovering something that terrifies and liberates you simultaneously. Your worth isn't conditional. Your value isn't earned. Your right to exist, to be loved, to take up space. It's not based on what you produce or provide. It's inherent. It's unchangeable. It's not something that can expire. The people who truly love you, they don't love you for what you do. They love you for who you are. And the people who only stick around when you're useful, those aren't your people anyway. Karma is clearing them out, making space for relationships built on genuine connection instead of transaction. This is a shock. You've been living your entire life trying to earn something you've always had. You've been working to deserve something that was never conditional. You've been terrified of losing something that was never at risk. Your worth doesn't expire. Your value isn't performance-based. Your humanity isn't contingent on your usefulness. And karma, moving faster than ever, is demanding you finally believe it. So here we stand, Capricorn, at the summit of truth, looking down at everything these 5 karmic revelations have exposed. You climbed your mountain on others' backs, only to discover loneliness at the top. You built control mechanisms that became your cage. You pursued success that became your prison. You erected emotional walls that suffocated your soul. And beneath it all, you've been running from the terror that your worth might expire with your usefulness. Do you see it now? The pattern? The exhausting, devastating pattern? Everything you've done to protect yourself has become the thing destroying you. Every defense mechanism has become an attack on your own happiness. Every strategy for safety has created more danger. Every wall built for protection has become a barrier to everything you actually need. You've been at war with yourself, Capricorn, and you've been losing. The strong, capable, controlled exterior? It's not fake, it's real. You genuinely are strong, capable, and controlled. But it's also not the whole truth. Behind that fortress of competence is a human being who's scared, lonely, exhausted, and desperate for permission to stop performing. For permission to be imperfect. For permission to need. For permission to be loved not for what you do, but for who you are. And karma, moving at this accelerated pace, isn't punishing you. It's trying to save you. It's trying to wake you up before you spend your entire life climbing mountains that lead nowhere, achieving goals that mean nothing, building empires that feel empty, maintaining control that suffocates, and proving your worth to a universe that never questioned it in the first place. The mountain you've been climbing? It's not the goal. It was never the goal. The goal was always the person you become during the climb, the connections you make, the vulnerability you risk, the humanity you embrace, the love you give and receive, the moments of genuine connection that make the journey meaningful. But you've been so focused on the summit that you missed the entire point of climbing. And now, karma is asking, are you ready to change? Are you ready to let go? Are you ready to stop performing and start living? Are you ready to risk being loved as you are instead of admired for what you achieve? This is your moment, your accelerated karmic moment, where everything culminates, where the lesson becomes unavoidable, where the choice becomes crystal clear. Keep climbing the lonely mountain of achievement, control, and performance. Or turn around, come back down, and discover that everything you've been seeking at the summit has been waiting at the base all along. In the connections you sacrificed, the vulnerability you avoided, the rest you denied yourself, the worthiness you tried to earn. The universe is moving faster now, Capricorn. The karma is accelerating. The consequences are arriving. The lessons are unavoidable. What will you choose? But here's what I need you to understand, Capricorn. This isn't condemnation. This is compassion. Every single thing you've done, every wall you've built, every person you've used, every emotion you've suppressed, every achievement you've chased, you did it because you were trying to survive. You did it because someone taught you that you had to earn your place in the world, that you had to prove your worth, that vulnerability was dangerous and strength was currency. You're not broken. You're not bad. You're not unforgivable. You're human. Beautifully, messily, imperfectly human. And the fact that karma is accelerating right now, that's not punishment. That's grace. That's the universe refusing to let you waste any more time living a half-life. That's cosmic intervention demanding you wake up and start living fully, authentically, vulnerably. The mountain is still there. Your ambitions are still valid. Your goals still matter. But they're not the point. They never were. The point is becoming someone who can enjoy the summit, someone who can share the victory, someone who can rest in their worth without constantly having to prove it, someone who can receive love as readily as they give it. That's the real climb. That's the real achievement. That's the real success. And every karmic lesson accelerating toward you right now is just the universe saying, it's time. Time to stop running. Time to stop performing. Time to stop earning. Time to start being. Time to come home to yourself. Time to accept that you are always enough. Time to remember that your worth isn't something you achieve, it's something you are. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these karmic truths hit you the hardest? Are you living behind walls, chasing success that feels empty, or terrified your worth is conditional? Capricorn or not? If you felt the weight of these words, drop a comment below. Share your truth. Be vulnerable. Because in this space, we're done pretending. We're done performing. We're done earning our right to exist. And if this video shook something loose in you, if it made you see yourself more clearly, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And subscribe for more truth that cuts through the noise. Remember, Capricorn, the mountain isn't going anywhere. But your time to climb it as your authentic self, that's limited. Stop wasting it on a version of success that leaves you empty. Start building a life that feels as good as it looks. Karma is moving fast. It's time to move with it toward healing, toward wholeness, toward home.